Hallelujah, and welcome to the Game Sports Show inside ONNtv Studios. It is your host, David McCaig, and we're here for another action-packed yet snowy day in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, here on the Game Sports Show. You're listening to the show through our Spotify, Apple, and Podbean applications, including viewing us through YouTube and on TV. I'm here joined by my main man, Alex Parr, the one and only Alex Parr, who is recovering from the flu. It seems like it's going around town. And
yes, sir.
You're looking sharp still today.
Thank you.
Is that a newer shirt?
No.
No?
No, just pulled it out of the closet. It's been there, collecting a little dust. You know, it doesn't look bad.
Doesn't look sharp.
Thank you.
Went no tie, I went tie today, so we like to rotate here on the Game Sports Show. We have lots to get to today. We got a lot of hockey talk. Loads. Trades are already flooding in the National Hockey League. We're going to be talking about the Canadian teams right off the hop. We got the trades that we're going to jump to in part two. We're going to jump to talk about the NBA. We got local roundup to discuss, XFL to conclude the show. Lots to get to here on the Game Sports Show. And if you'd like to be a sponsor on the show, or if you'd like to have a topic discussed on the show, don't hesitate to comment below or reach out to yours truly, Alex, ONNtv, or anything through our website, which is thegamesportshow.com, and we will talk about your desired topic. Now, Alex, we did not have a show last week.
No.
Obviously, due to you having the flu, and we had a lot going on with the show. Obviously, I'm going to Cayman Islands at the end of next week, not to rub it in. So we're going to have a couple little show schedule changes, so keep an eye on that for the Game Sports Show. But we will be here, obviously, this week, and next week we'll have a special show on Monday is the plan for our NHL trade deadline day. It's going to be a big day, obviously. We're covering all the NHL and trade needs in the National Hockey League.
Of course.
Lots to jump into. But to get right into it, here today, we're going to go to our hockey talk with myself and Alex. And to jump into the hockey talk, we're going to talk about all the Canadian teams in the National Hockey League, from bottom of the standings to the Canadian team that's leading the charge in the standings. And Ottawa first.
Yeah, I mean,
we knew this right off the hop. You know, this is a team that's not going to be fantastic this year. Jean-Gabriel Pageau is leading the way with the Ottawa Senators, a guy who is on our deadline target board for the Game Sports Show, who is projected to get moved. There's a lot of UFAs. Pageau, one of them, Hainsey, Craig Anderson, Michael Bodker. They're sellers. They're not buying this trade deadline, and they're not looking to make the playoffs this year.
No, but this is the first step to a good rebuild, and it's biting that bullet of being an awful team. They've got 2 first-round picks, though, one of them being Colorado's. I believe that is correct. And, I mean, hey, 2 early first-round picks, woo, they could do some damage.
They could, and the big thing is with Ottawa that I like, that I'm really noticing, is the depth that's coming up defensively, offensively, and net. They've had basically a carousel in net. It just seems like, all right, we all know that we're here to develop our youth. Brady Tkachuk has really emerged as a leader. Jean-Gabriel Pageau has really shown that he can be a top 6 forward, which the asset that they're going to attain coming back. Look at what Tyler Toffoli and looking at Blake Coleman got as well, that we're going to talk to a little bit later on, something that I felt was a little high in payment. But nonetheless, in a buyer's market, individuals like Jean-Gabriel Pageau that can play center and wing, that's an asset to a lot of hockey teams. And I actually like what Ottawa's doing. I can't complain. If you're an Ottawa Senators fan, sure, this year sucks. Next year might suck. But 3 years from now, you might look at this team like, okay, the progress is there. Maybe you won't make the playoffs that 3rd year, but you'll be right on the cusp. Then that 4th year is where you're going to start making damage.
And that's when hockey starts getting a little bit more exciting too, right? I mean, you've got the team that, maybe they can do it. The young guys, maybe they can bring them. A little reminiscent of a Leafs team when they went on to face the Capitals in the first round of the playoffs, where it was just house money. They were playing and there no real expectations, but the youth pulled through. So Ottawa, I think you got some exciting years of hockey ahead.
You do, and the trade deadline, I'm going to say, to give you advice, even though that they may not take my advice, I think going towards getting picks is great, but if you can get a high prospect, a highly touted prospect, maybe for Gabriel Pageau, I think that might be a better route to go, because somebody who you can continue to keep the youth in there. The emergence of Anthony Duclair this year has been awesome. That's someone you do not want to trade. He's comfortable in Ottawa. He's doing fantastic in Ottawa. A little bit of a goalless slide right now, but he's somebody that you should definitely keep locked up in there. But no expectations in Ottawa this season, except maybe they're trying to look at the route of Lafreniere is kind of what they're hoping, but I think the Red Wings might be looking that way too. Okay, now the Ottawa Senators are one team that we talked about. Next we're going to go to the Montreal Canadiens. Okay, This is a team that had a little bit more expectations. They're a game over 500 currently right now. Their top scorer is Tomas Tatar, who is really on the trade, who's on our deadline target board, but traded projections are high. Ilya Kovalchuk as well. Deruis Marco Scandella, who was actually moved today.
Yeah, minutes before we came on to do the show.
Exactly. So there's Montreal. Are they in sell mode, or are they still waiting?
I don't think this team's ever going to sell, because if they aren't going to do it this season, it just seems like it's never going to happen. I mean, they aren't a good hockey team, and I don't really know how else to say that, right? I mean, you've got Weber and you've got Price, and I think that once Price gets traded, that's kind of the last straw where Montreal's got to go, all right, that's it. We got to go from the ground up, and I don't think they're ready to bite that bullet on moving Carey Price, because that's basically accepting defeat for all of those years you've had him as your number one goalie.
See, big thing with Carey Price, a lot of people are really pointing at trading him this year, and obviously Colorado's been in the mix.
Of course.
Colorado's in every team, it seems like.
And especially with Grubauer going down?
Yeah, that, you know why they might have to pull the trigger on that. Maybe Patrick Waugh 2.0-esque kind of trade, but that's not an awful trade to make. It's a team that's out of conference. It's a team that you maybe see once or twice a year. It's not really going to impact your future playoff potential. It might hurt you if you make the Cup final down the road, but I don't think Montreal's got to be thinking that anytime soon. So honestly, I think trading Carey Price, if you don't trade him at the deadline, you do by the draft. I think there will be teams that will take a bite. Imagine losing that $10 million out of your salary. Shea Weber, you're not trading. I'm sorry, you're not. That contract is horrific. Unless you eat up that half that contract, which will be franchise crippling.
Not if you trade Carey Price.
No, if you don't trade Carey Price, you don't have to retain any of that.
Yeah.
Someone's going to take Carey Price. I still think he's a top 10 goalie in National Hockey League, top 5.
Yeah.
You know, and this is a goalie that goalies are hard to come by nowadays. Okay, there's not Carter Harts. There's not a lot of Carter Harts coming up in the realm. There's not a lot of Ukko-Pekka Ukkonen's coming up in the realms.
Elvis Mazurkins from Columbus Blue Jackets.
As our casual analyst Craig Hartsburg has said, the emergence of Elvis has been great. Elvis has not left the building.
No,
he's staying in the building.
Not.
And honestly, Montreal selling has to happen. I think Kovalchuk is their big asset to trade. I know they just brought him in, but teams will bite on him. Teams like maybe Pittsburgh now, Washington. Imagine him playing with Alex Ovechkin. Like there's some places where Kovalchuk can go, and Montreal fans may not be able to bite the bullet, but they kind of need to learn to have to. And I think Bergevin needs to also face defeat, where he's in a tough division right now that's really top heavy. And it's, even though he's had some hot and cold games, I think it's time to think sell in Montreal.
Sorry, Montreal. I bet you thought we'd have a little bit better news for you than that, but not here.
We don't. Winnipeg. I'm on the fence about Winnipeg, okay? Winnipeg Jets they're 5 games over 500 right now. 30, 25, and 5 is their record. Their top scorer, Kyle Connor, even though we've had some trade discussions there, with Colorado's been tied to Kyle Connor, which would be absolutely freaky, especially in Rantanen going down. You know, and Colorado losing out on Taylor Hall sweepstakes to the Arizona Coyotes. Dmitry Kulikov and Bellieu is their key UFAs, which isn't too concerning for the Jets. They're not really losing a lot. They have a lot of individuals coming back, but defense is where they're hurting.
And those are where those 2 UFAs are.
Yeah, exactly.
They're both defensemen, so.
And you got Dustin Byfuglien, whose contract's going to be mutually terminated. We're waiting for all the official there. So we wonder if he is going to go anywhere this year. It's starting to seem like maybe you were right, Alex, and he might not.
He better not.
No.
For the team and for his own sake, he better not go anywhere this season.
But they need defense. There's a lot of teams that need defense, okay? But Winnipeg has done good with some guys that they basically just found in the East Coast Hockey League, and they've called them up to give them a chance, and they've worked.
Right.
Imagine if this team had defense with the way Connor Hellebuyck is playing. You get them a defensive core like the Bostons, or a defensive core per se like the Washington Capitals, Tampa Bay Lightning, maybe should be one I should use.
Right.
That is where you're going to have success, right? Like that, with Connor Hellebuyck playing the way they would, Winnipeg would be, I think, the top team in the division, or right up there with St. Louis.
But when you're on the outside looking in right now, like the Winnipeg Jets are you a team that's going to make a move for a defenseman to try to get over that hump and get into the playoffs, or are you just going to ride it out and see what happens?
I think if you don't sell the farm to really make a move to get somebody. You don't want to sell the farm. And if you sell the farm, you're going to cripple yourself in the future.
For the second, first wild card spot, I don't think that's worth it.
No, it's not. Keep a status quo, see what happens at the draft, and make sure you keep everyone interested in staying there. I think if you're a Winnipeg Jet player, you got to be excited still with what this team has done. And re-signing Paul Maurice was absolutely huge. Now, we talk about 3 teams we got Calgary, Vancouver, Toronto, and Edmonton to discuss. So we only got a couple seconds before we go to break. So we'll save those teams for after the break. It's Dave and Alex here inside ONNtv Studios with the Game Sports Show. Don't go anywhere. More hockey talk coming your way. Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. Dave, Alex, signed on TV Studios, continuing our show here tonight, going through our recap of the Canadian teams up to date in the National Hockey League. So Calgary's next. I'll let you start off.
What an interesting team. A team that their goaltending worries me all of the time. Their goal differential, last I checked, was still absolutely atrocious, but they're still in the first wildcard spot. They're still there. I don't think they're getting the scoring that they want this year. Matthew Tkachuk leading the way with 50 points. When you've got superstars, and I use the word superstars in Gaudreau, you'd expect that to be...
Monahan.
Yeah, I'm not so sure I'd use superstar for Monahan. He's a great player, absolutely exceptional player. But I just kind of believe that team should be scoring at a rate a little bit higher than what they're doing.
See, and big thing to me is the UFAs, TJ Brodie, Travis Hamonic.
Yeah.
Travis Hamonic, when he was in Long Island, was a coveted defenseman that's shut down, top four pairing, who's going to block shots, kill penalties. I know certain teams that would love to have that on their team, maybe one of them being Winnipeg, the other one being Toronto, lots of teams, right? So a big thing to me is the UFAs, but Gaudreau, you bring up a good point. There's a guy that's got to be scoring 80-plus points a season.
Easy. Like
You
money
have
in
to
the bank, 80 points
And you
minimum.
can blame where, well, okay, he doesn't have a star centerman, where maybe Monahan comes in, but if you're a true, like the way that Gaudreau is, he is a sniper, but he has that playmaker mentality.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He can make guys like Monahan be 30-plus goal scorers. He can make guys like Mark Giordano from the point in the power play. He's setting them up for that big blast from the point. You know, there's Rasmus Anderson, who I'm a big fan of for Calgary as a defenseman. There's a guy who has a bomb, big guy. There's a guy you can put on the power play, put Gaudreau on the other side. I like experimenting with forwards on the point. Gaudreau is one of those guys that can play that kind of role. And now we've seen guys like Mitch Marner, who are smaller forwards that are playing penalty kill, some good speed. Gaudreau has that. Maybe that extra ice time might put him over the top, but Gaudreau is a guy that stands out to me very interestingly, where maybe in the offseason something could be done with Calgary, where they can bring in, if they lose someone like Brodie, if they lose someone like Hamonic, maybe they look at Philadelphia, where Gaudreau's been tied to. They look at Ivan Provorov to bring into Calgary, keep stacking that D-core and bring up some prospects in the forward system. But it's hard to move one of those guys. And Tkachuk being their star, that's to be seen, but 50 points could be better.
Quickly, do you believe in Big Save Dave?
Inconsistent.
Very.
And very inconsistent. You need a 1A, 1B type option there in Calgary if you're going to ride the David Riddick train. And I think there'll be a lot of opportunities maybe at the deadline where trades can be done. Do they look at an Alexander Gorgiev to try to get them over the top? But
I don't think Gorgiev gets traded.
no, probably not. But there's an example of maybe somebody that could come in. Vancouver.
I remember the beginning of the year when I said they were going to make the playoffs. And so far, so good.
32, 22, and 5.
Third in the
surprised.
Pacific.
So surprised, to be honest. Key UFAs newly acquired: Tyler Toffoli, Jacob Markstrom, Christopher Tanev, who I'm a big fan of as well on the defensive side. Great defensive defenseman. So will he resign in Vancouver? Remains to be seen. Toffoli, same thing. But Markstrom, there's a goalie that's really stood on his head this year and has done great.
Yeah, I think he's one of the league's most underrated goalies. I think he's got to get re-signed at all costs for Vancouver. Sure, Toffoli and Tanev are great, but you need to be all in on getting Markstrom back. And I don't think he's going to command that much just because of how he's seen across the league.
I think it goes
Yeah, I think about 5.5, even 6 over 4 or 5 years would be good for a guy like him. But yeah, Vancouver's a team that needs to get a lot more love across the league because they are wild this year.
Yeah, they got a good all-around depth on
Right.
Vancouver. Okay, and they're also salary cap crunched, but when that clears up in a couple of years, watch out when some key free agents hit the market.
You got to see what happens with the Besser injury. 8 weeks he's out.
Yeah, LTIR, if you will, Robidas Island, if you will.
Yeah.
But the key thing with Vancouver, we're going to talk about it more in the next part, maybe later on this part. Tyler Toffoli got traded to the Vancouver Canucks. So we'll get through those trades that have happened because there's a lot. Next team to talk about, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Yes, we didn't put them last because Edmonton is ahead of them. So we kept their honest. 31-21-8, 9th in the Eastern Conference. 13th in the league, and 3rd in the Atlantic. They're still 2 points above on Florida. Top scorer, Austin Matthews. Fantastic year for Austin Matthews. Kyle Clifford, Spencer, Muzzin, and Barry as your key UFAs. Contract talks are apparently happening with Jake Muzzin as we speak. And we don't know if someone like Clifford will be returning, but I think that'd be a key guy that you would bring back. People say the injury bug has been a big thing in Toronto. Stop using that as an excuse, okay? Look at Columbus. Look at Pittsburgh. You think they're feeling bad for you? Especially Columbus right now.
Yeah.
Talking to Craig Hartsburg last week, they got 9 key injuries. 8 or 9 key injuries. Corpusalo, Seth Jones, Ryan Murray, Cam Atkinson, Josh Anderson. Those are big players that are. And who stepped up? Alvis Mazingas. Who's this guy? Like, who is it? Everyone's asking, who is this guy? This guy is like got 5 or 6 shutouts. Okay, 5. I believe it's 5 exactly. But Toronto. Key UFAs is big there, but it's also maybe a positive because their salary cap issue. But what is this team, Alex? Get Buffalo on Sunday was an absolute disaster. This team is not fun to watch unless you're watching number 34, 16, and some nights 91 and 88. Wow, give me the same 88.
I like watching Spezza myself.
Oh, he's good to watch.
19's fun to watch.
But defense on this team and reliability on their goaltenders is way too high, don't you think?
Yeah, but the team just as a whole, collectively, doesn't care. So as a Leafs fan, there's my hat going on. I don't care. How are they going to expect me to sit down for 3 hours a night and watch them, cheer them on? They don't care. They don't care. They got their money.
Big games coming up. Pittsburgh back-to-back. You got Tampa. You got Florida before your trip to California. This week is not going to be friendly. And if you're a Leaf fan, get ready to get some more gray hairs because it's not getting easy this week. You got Crosby coming up. You got Zucker. You got Malkin. You got Stamkos. Braden Point. You got Barkov. You got guys that are going to absolutely shell and go past the defense. Dubas. I tagged you in a post today, and Justin Heichel and Dane Hancho, one of our analysts, what Dubas has done in terms of being here so far. I'm not pointing any fingers, but he's given up a first, he's given up seconds, he's given up thirds, he's given up Kadri, he's given up Brown. Okay, he's given up a lot.
Dzingel, Grundstrom.
He's given up a lot. Dursey,
thank you.
He's given up players, okay, and I was watching Jake Muzzin yesterday, and I drew a little diagram. You can't see it. Okay, I drew a little diagram, but too bad I can't get the TV going to do things right now. It's my fault, a little delay there. But there was plays, guys like Muzzin turning their back to the play. We call it the Thessalon turnaround. A lot of different plays.
Thessalon turnaround.
Okay, a lot of I don't cares going on in that room. And I'm not just pointing out Jake Muzzin, okay, so don't say I'm going there, but I watched a lot of tape of that last game. They just let their foot off the pedal and let Anderson out to dry. Anderson was top-notch. This team needs better defense and players that care. The only players that I see that care are Clifford, Spezza, and I think Sandin would be one that's up there right now. Okay, and Anderson does. Jack Campbell, his encouragement is so sweet. I'm going to use that word. It's sweet.
Yeah.
It's cute. I'm sorry, like he taps his D every time, even when they make a mistake. It's encouraging. Anderson, this guy's beat up. The guy's exhausted.
I just don't think he cares anymore.
No,
I mean,
no.
3 straight years of being the goalie that gets shelled the most in the league for shots on, and it's like, all right, come on, keep doing it every night. And they don't play in front of you, but keep it up, man. You're doing great. Like, at what point do you just go like, man, like I can't do this anymore?
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of interesting things. Dubas telling you right now, I'm not gonna do a rant, but you need to do something, man. If you want to make the playoffs, you have to. Or
do the Leafs make the playoffs?
I don't want to say yes or no right now.
Do the Leafs make the playoffs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Optimism.
I think I'm still gonna say yeah too.
Edmonton, quick.
Wow, holy! I thought these guys were not contenders at all. My goodness. Look at their top scorer. Tell me how many points he has. Are you kidding me?
That's not a typo.
That's not a typo. 95 points for Leon Draisaitl. I believe that puts him second in the league.
Well, how's that contract looking now?
Pretty gosh darn good. Couple key UFAs there in Gagne, Granlund, and Smith. I think those aren't the craziest that if you end up losing them. And I think if you do re-sign any of them, you can get them on a pretty cheap deal.
Yep.
But wow. Oh my goodness. Do you think they can do damage in the playoffs though?
Yes, they can. But they got to dig some depth. I think there's a team that when you have number 97 and number 29 on your team like that, just key thing is McDavid. That's a dangerous thing. You can get anybody to play with McDavid, and they're already better. So I would say that the Oilers are going to buy at the deadline. I'm happy they didn't go buy someone like Blake Coleman, which was really overpaid, in my opinion.
I beg to differ. Can't wait to get into that.
But the Tyler Toffoli trade, I think, is something that they missed out on. Vancouver bit them for that. But there's other players they can get. They got key injuries. Sure. Cliff Baum, McDavid's out. Cliff Baum. Clefbaum, wow, let me get that
Good
right.
catch.
Evan Bouchard is someone who's going to get an opportunity to play. So honestly, I got to say right now that to be an Edmonton Oilers fan, you got to be a little bit concerned. Trust me, coming from a Leaf fan for a sec with injuries. But like I said, Columbus and Pittsburgh did it. If you're a true team that's all around depth and good, and if you're a true playoff team, you will pass it. And the biggest surprise for me is their goaltending performance, which has been hot and cold, but they've been great.
Yeah, I absolutely roasted the Mikko Koskinen contract when it first came out. I was like, what kind of deal is that?
Trelly.
Yeah, he's making that deal just before he goes out the door. Another terrible deal. The guy's got 29 games played in the NHL in the last 10 seasons. They've been pretty good.
It's going to be interesting to see what they do. Ken Holland has a lot of ties going to someone named Tomas Tatar. Very interested to see if that plays with McDavid. Wouldn't that be something? Or even Kovalchuk. Just saying. We're going to come back, though, from our break. We're going to come and talk about a little bit more trades that happen before we transition to our next topic here on the Game Sports Show. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. Dave, Alex, continuing today's show in a blizzardy day.
Blizzardy.
In Sault Ste. Marie. That's not even a great word. And
That's not a word, period.
It's not.
No.
But we caught it, so I didn't blow it. Trades that happened in the NHL. There's already been a flurry of them.
Fleury didn't get traded, though.
No, a flurry. Okay, now you're going literal. There's been a flurry of them, like just a blizzard. You know what I'm saying?
I picked up on it. Don't worry.
You picking up and down?
For sure. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Trades. I'm thinking there's a lot of analysts, including ourselves, that are going, can you guys wait?
Yeah.
You know, Zucker's off the board. You have that's our deadline target board.
See, before we came into the studio,
Galchenyuk.
I made this graphic, and now Dylan's off of there.
Toffoli.
Scandella's off of there. I don't know if Scandella's on there.
No, he's not on that extended one. We have an extended one, but he didn't make the cut for that one.
Yeah.
Tyler Toffoli's off it. Dylan's off it. You have Zucker off it. Galchenyuk's off it. You got that board is pretty, stacked with a lot of talent.
Yep.
And, honestly, the big weapon on there is Jesse Puljujarvi. Edmonton has a weapon in their arsenal.
Yeah, if they want to make a splash, they can use
can they ever?
Yeah, for sure.
I forgot about that. But honestly, the trades that have happened, let's give everyone a little recap.
Yep.
Jason Zucker goes to the Pens for Galchenyuk, for Kalen Addison and a first. I think that was high overpayment. We might switch that, but we'll talk about that. Tyler Toffoli to the Canucks. Okay, he goes for Scheller, Madden, and a second with a conditional fourth. This Madden prospect is fantastic. Tyler Madden's got some good numbers, and he's playing NCAA right now. He's a small guy. He's fantastic. Okay, that kid. People don't underestimate that Tyler Madden player in this trade. Blake, and as you see, Tyler Toffoli, who reunites with Tanner Pearson. That post on social media.
Oh, I saw that
hilarious.
too. Yeah, at the wedding.
We don't have that for you, but it was definitely a very, if you will, cute post. I've used that word twice tonight. Blake Coleman decides that he's going to be moving on as well, not to his choice, but he's very excited, I'm sure, because he's going to the Tampa Bay Lightning, okay, the hottest team in the National Hockey League right now. To New Jersey is going back as Nolan Foote, and also a 21st round pick, which is Vancouver's. Blake Coleman, and you and I talk, we'll get to that in a second. Okay. We'll save that. We'll go to that first trade with Zucker. In a few moments we do argue it, but there's other trades that happened. Brendan Dillon went to the Washington Capitals. Want to give that a mention. We do not have a graphic with that as it just happened before coming in studio for a second, a conditional third. We also have Marco Scandella coming from the Montreal, going over to St. Louis for a second and a fourth. So kind of similar value going for each other. I think the Capitals made up a little bit of a steal for Brendan Dillon because that's a big, strong defenseman that they would certainly need. And also, San Jose retained half of Brendan Dillon's salary, which allows Washington to potentially make more trades. Darnell Nurse signed a contract extension last week, couple of years, just over $5 million. We'll get to that a little bit as well. But Jason Zucker, overpayment. Sorry, are we disagreeing or?
No, we are definitely agreeing. I think a lot of that was wanting to get Alex Galchenyuk out of there. It just seems that he is a cancerous player wherever he goes. Why does it not work? So highly
Former
touted.
third overall pick to the Montreal Canadiens.
That's what I mean. Kalen Addison, second round pick in 2018. Don't shake a stick at that by any
Good
means.
offensive numbers in junior. Played for Canada at the World Juniors this year.
Conditional first round pick for Jason Zucker. And I know Crosby and Malkin in the supporting cast there can do a great job of making a lesser known person a well-known household name because of their abilities. But I mean, of all the players, like you could have picked up a Tyler Toffoli, and I think I would have been a little bit more like, okay, that's not as bad. But
Chris Kreider.
Oof, that would have been a great pickup. Jason Zucker though, like nothing. Sorry, Jason, you'll probably be tuning in right now, and nothing to get on you for. But I just don't really see why it took so many pieces to get him moved from Minnesota, a team not doing anything.
You got 20 goals, just about 20 goals last year, Galchenyuk. If you stayed in Arizona this year, maybe there's a guy that would be also getting the same amount of points. It's just over 40 points. Look at his points. He's gotten over 35 in the last handful of years. He's consistently a third-line scoring forward. Is what he is. Zucker is a 50-point guy as well. The difference in points isn't there. It's just, I think, the personality side is maybe something that we don't know. And as well as the fit, okay? And Crosby was out a lot this year. Galchenyuk was relied upon to play a lot of center and move around the lineup. He wasn't gaining any chemistry with anybody. Zucker is going to be playing with Crosby, and as Leaf fans, are going to be seeing a lot of them this week. Okay, that is probably where this trade fits, but it was definitely an overpayment, in my opinion. Toffoli.
I think this
underpayment. Sort of besides.
I think it's basically what you'll expect from the market.
Yeah.
I think Tim Shaler's only probably in there just for a contract situation. Just
a fourth line guy. That Madden kid's sick.
Just to swap the roster players, just to make sure it all evens out.
Yeah.
But it's a prospect, a second, and a later pick. I mean, I think what it's going to be for most of these players are a half-decent prospect and a second-round pick. So I think that's basically market value for him.
It is. Tyler Madden, like I said, you got to watch out. And the Canucks bolstering that offense. Watch out for Vancouver, okay? Yeah. They're doing good things in Vancouver, okay?
I think Tyler Toffoli will be a great fit right now. Will Besser's out of the lineup, somebody there just to kind of carry the offense just a little bit more and kind of ease the pressure of the rest of Pettersson and the crew.
Yep. Very hotbed of hockey in Vancouver, too. It's a very hostile market. Blake Coleman to the Lightning. You and I disagree. Because in terms of overpayment, I think this is an overpayment. Why don't you think it is?
Team management. I mean, this isn't a rental. Blake Coleman's not done at the end of the year. It's not a UFA. He's only making $1.8 million this year and next year. Last year he had 21. I think this year he's already got 22. And you go to Tampa Bay, one of the best offensive teams we've ever seen constructed. Maybe 30 next year. And if he scores 30 next year and Tampa Bay goes far in the playoffs or wins the Stanley Cup, that isn't an overpayment.
See, that big thing to me that stands out is Nolan Foote. Big fan of prospects that, in my mind, are going to make an impact. Will Nolan Foote be a top 6 forward in the National Hockey League? I think so. He's going to come in and be a guy who's NHL ready, I'd say, in 3 years is when you'll see him. So New Jersey's going to wait. But when he comes into that lineup, guys are going to be mature by then. Hughes, the Heischers, the Jesper Bratz. I'm missing a few names right now off the top of my head, but that's totally fine. He's going to come into a good situation in New Jersey. I think that's a 25, 30 goal guy in Nolan Foote. I truly think it is. And a lot of players of his talent in terms of as well as his size are missed in the league. Nolan Foote, not just the first, but this is a very deep draft this year too.
Yeah.
But you are getting next year. But if Coleman gets 30 goals and re-signs, it's worth it for Tampa. But if he leaves because they can't afford him, it might be a loss because down the road, Foote and that third could be something special.
Well, somebody that you can hope for 25 goals out of for only $1.8 million is huge for Tampa Bay, a team loaded with huge contracts.
Yeah. How do they get players with this? I know how they can get players. The cap, they got numbers. I get it, but. They got everyone, it seems.
Taxes too, right? It's Florida, right? So
who doesn't want to play in Tampa
right
now? Quickly, Dylan to the Caps, good move. You know that good. The Caps are just defensively stacking up. They got the offense there. Good move. Scandella, good depth move for St. Louis. They don't need to make change. You won't see them be that active.
No.
Unless they're trading Pietrangelo, which I dislike those rumors. Stop.
I don't think that's going
Toronto
to
media.
No.
Stop. I've had enough. Toronto media. Darnell Nurse, just over. I am a big fan, Darnell Nurse, not because of the Sue Greyhound ties, but just because of his play and how physical he is. My question is, Muzzin's in the middle of an extension talks, and we think it's going to happen in Toronto. Does Muzzin make more than Nurse?
If he does, it won't be much more, and if he makes less, it won't be much less. I think right now what they're talking about is something like a 4-year between $5 and $5.5 million. Those are the first numbers coming out of these reports. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Toronto would want him for any longer than 4 years, just based on age and the style of play that he brings, blocking a lot of shots, a lot of roughhousing, and things like that. That could probably dampen a couple injuries throughout the career, right? Yep. So, and I think the money makes sense too. I just think it all makes sense for both sides.
And with the reason why we bring in the Muzzins thing, and I'll say quick, this guy's UFA. If he's gonna re-sign or not, does Toronto potentially move him? I don't think that's gonna happen. But Nurse making more than Muzzin, I think should be a fact. I don't think Muzzin should make more than Nurse, despite being a Stanley Cup winner, just because of the impact that Nurse has shown on Edmonton. Like I said, the reason why we bring up those guys, not just to dispute about the contract side, but their trade value, if there is going to be any. And people say that the Leafs might trade Muzzin or Barrie, it's not going to happen. Or the Oilers trading Nurse, it's not going to happen.
Gotta feel bad for Barrie. This season, he's just seeing money just poof, gone.
He's not getting more than Nurse either next year at this current rate. No offense. This is Alex and Dave for the Game Sports Show. We had 3 segments of Hockey Talk, lots, and as I said, this Monday we're going to have a different change in our schedule because of the trade deadline. So we'll be breaking a lot of the trades and a lot of things will be happening. This week will determine the week and the upcoming future for a lot of teams in the National Hockey League, especially for the Canadian teams, in particular Toronto, Edmonton, and Vancouver. Alex, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to be talking some NBA and some local talk here on the Game Sports Show. Welcome back to the Game Sports Show, Dave, Alex. What a great bumper that is. Who's that wanted guy?
I don't know.
Some dude.
Kind of cute.
Some guy who's, cute. That's the third time that word's been used today. We're having a lot of fun using random words that we never use here on the Game Sports Show. And speaking of local roundup, oh, there it is. Booyah Bill, 69,420. Nice. That's all.
Nice.
Who is this guy? Name this guy, and I might get you a prize. Courtesy of the Game Sports Show.
I don't think you will.
Pursuit Greyhounds.
Yep, they're a team.
Yes, they are.
They
Here
do
in
that.
Sault Ste. Marie base.
They do that game
They
with the
call-
stick and the puck.
The puck, thing.
That one.
They go 1-2 over the weekend. Win over Oshawa General 6-5. The former team that used to have Eric Lindros, Oshawa General. It's a fun fact. Saturday, February the 15th, losing to Hamilton 5-4. Then Monday, losing to Guelph 3-2. This weekend they play against Ottawa and Sarnia. Friday and Sunday, a little home cooking.
Why can't they be in the East? They'd be in 5th place. They're 9th in the West.
4 points up.
4 points out with Erie being the 8th spot team with 2 games in hand.
Is it really a disappointment though if they don't make the playoffs?
I just want them to, Dave. I just want them to.
I know you got Nick Malik there, and I got something to rant about that in a second. Okay, but we'll get to there in a second. Okay. The Sioux Greyhounds right now, I think they got a lot of 20-goal guys that are there that are going to be returning next year. The optimism that this season's not done still. Actually, still got a chance. Just what? I think just under a dozen. Left. Just about under a dozen games left. They got a tough sketch. Friday against Ottawa. Yikes. You got a tough go. You got a tough schedule, but good teams find ways to win. Are the Hounds a good team? They truly can be and are. I love their goaltending depth now. Malik is awesome. I don't care what anyone says, despite his record. That's what my rant's going to be about. And just with the players coming up, they got guys in there that can get the job done. I want to believe and say that they'll squeak in the playoffs.
Wow, okay.
I want to believe. I want to be confident. I'm not confident about a lot of my sports teams unless it's draining threes like from Kyle Lowry. So I got to give a little bit of optimism to the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. And this has been a team that's been successful for the past decade. And we should be applauding for what this team has done for this city. Despite not winning a championship, they've been successful, great to watch. And if they don't make it this year, so what? Is it a failure? Maybe a little bit. But you know what? Let's be optimistic and say they're going to make it.
Let's hear the rant.
I read an article, okay, and I'm not going to say names. Okay, they're going to know who they are if they chime in. I talked about this last week on our Wednesday edition from SportsCenter. You can check it out on thegamesportshow.com, Spotify, Apple, Podbean. We're all over the place. So search The Game Sports Show, follow, like, subscribe. Nonetheless, there was an article saying how Nick Malik's record and how far below 500 that it is, how his save percentage is no better than Bailey's is, how his goals against average is basically not as good as people expected it to be. Okay, this kid is 17 years old. He came to Sault Ste. Marine on a whim to come here as a 17-year-old to come on and play with the team he's never played before. Hockey that he's not really familiar with unless you're playing World Junior hockey, but look how Canada treated him at the World Juniors.
A completely new continent.
And a completely new continent, away from home, new environment. Is this an excuse? No, not really. It really isn't. Being a hockey player myself, I never had to move out of continent to play. I had to move cities, okay? But even when you move out of city, out of town, you're still in a different comfort zone, different routine, different people. And when you're 17 years old and the pressure that Nick has coming here, hey man, you got to be our savior. You got to come here and be the next Robin Leonard. You got to come here and be the next Kyle Kajewski. Love
wow.
That. You got to come here and do exactly what Ray Emery did when he was here. Dan Kluche and the boys, okay? Nick Malik is 17 years old, and he's in that crease still, despite his numbers, has been left out to dry a lot. Despite some games, yeah, you know what? He let in 6 goals on 24 shots last week. Oh, so what? And the articles I'm reading from different sports individuals in town. Now, I'm going to watch what I say in terms of specific names. Okay, not anyone that's been involved with the show before. So I'm just to clear that up. I dislike what they're saying about Nick. Stop. This kid knows that. The Sioux's a big market. That is being read online. We're lucky to have Nick. He's going to be great. And someone who has written this on social media, you're going to regret saying that and you're going to look like a fool. And if I'm wrong, I'll say I look like a fool. Because he's a special talent.
Yeah, I'd agree. I don't know what article you're referencing though, so.
I'll have to show you off air.
Okay.
I'll have to show you off air.
Okay, for sure.
Stop with the ranting about Nick. The kid's going to be a stud. Give him a chance. I don't care if Bailey has 15 and 7 or whatever his record is. Nick is going to be something special. Make him feel welcome in town, not write stupid things on social media or cower behind social media. That's all my rant is.
You can feel the heat coming off of him right now.
If I say someone's not doing well, just say it on camera and I would tell it to their face. You know, that not just write it on social media. So moving on from the Hounds, good luck this weekend. Hounds prove the city wrong, try to get into the playoffs. LSSU, 0-0, 4-1 were their stats this weekend.
Yep.
Okay. They play Saturdays when they start off the weekend against the Wildcats this upcoming weekend. They play their game against at the GFL, and a lot of good reaction. Just about 2,500 fans.
Not bad.
It's not horrible. We support it. Mm-hmm. Bordertown, I think it'd be great to start getting a lot more of these games here for the LSSU. Yeah. You know what? It's a recognition for Sault, Ontario. The Taffy Able is a great arena in Sault, Michigan. Keep having that, but maybe just under a handful of games a year. I know they don't have a lot of home games for those LSSU, but
even just one, make it like an annual thing. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Get that talent here. We get to see that NCAA talent, because now what that brings is people are like, oh wow, I really like the talent out there on that ice. It gives you a lot of support to go across over to support them.
It's Division I hockey. It doesn't get better than that if you're looking at the collegiate level.
Yeah, it's older guys. You know, it's a different kind of hockey. It's different than the Ontario Hockey League or any kind of junior. It's so much different. Yeah. It was exciting and great to see that. Hopefully it continues to be a trend going forward, as LSSU has had a troubling year in terms of what they've expected. But you know what? Hopefully they can end strong to have optimism going into next year. But NOJHL now. Sault Thunderbirds. 7-1 loss to Rayside earlier last week. They won 4-3 against the Blind River Beavers. Big, nice turnaround there for them. They play Wednesday against Elliott Lake, Saturday against the Eagles, Sunday against Espanola. The Eagles lost 6-5 to Espanola. They play Wednesday in Espanola, or against Espanola, Friday and Saturday, Elliott Lake and the Birds in those games. Blind River, 7-0 win Saturday, lost 4-3 on Birds Sunday. They play Thursday against Rayside Balfour Canadians. Big game Saturday against Espanola. So the NOJHL, all in all, still tight. There's just under a month of the season left before we know what the playoffs will be starting. The NOJHL, very tight race, 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the Sault Ontario, Blind Rivers, and Rayside Balfour side. It's going to be absolutely insane. Sault College Cougars. The Gain Sports Show was there on hand. It's just over 700 fans there at the Sault College at the Rankin Arena for the 3-0 win over West Virginia. Take me home, country road.
Please no.
And a big 11-2 win on Sunday. The Winter Classic game was a little closer than the second game was, Alex. And the big reason from what we found with the games is that's how it is in the ACHA.
Pressure.
It is.
Yeah.
And the Rankin turnout with the Winter Classic game was absolutely fantastic. And the support from the community. But you had the Laker game, and you had the Sault College game all in the same weekend.
Yeah, same day.
Which I felt, now that looking at it, because we were covering both.
Yep.
And so sending one, we have a lot of staff here on the Game Sports, so able to cover everything. But it's different because maybe it would have got more fans if LSSU wasn't here. Maybe if LSSU would have got more fans if Sault College wasn't here. So it wasn't, not saying it wasn't planned poorly by the college or LSSU or Canada Hockey or ACH, nothing like that, or American or USA Hockey. But nonetheless, maybe going forward, because they're going to make this an annual thing, potentially we can have them on different weekends because there'll be more support.
Yeah, it might be a little too much hockey for somebody not wanting to make it to 2, because I believe the Sault College game was in the afternoon, and I believe the Lake State game was in the evening. But even so, you don't want to be going to one, going to the other sometimes. You got other obligations. You got other things you got to do.
7 o'clock was the rank. It was a Winter Classic game. The early game was Sunday.
Oh, that's right, too.
Yeah.
So they would have been at the same time. Yeah, I think next time maybe work that out a little bit better.
Yeah, and either way, they're both great turnouts, great going forward. So I'm not seeing any disadvantages there. Especially the Sault College game was a very exciting game on Saturday. A little bit one-sided on Sunday, obviously. Winning 11-2. Ryan Venderman scoring 7 goals.
The repeat button. Give me that repeat button.
Flawless. A lot of different articles released in town on this all. I loved the reaction with Ryan and the team with Sault College as their divisional playoffs. As you can check our Facebook page out, the Game Sports Show. We released what their schedule is going to be going into the ACHA. They leave to go to Dallas on March 18th, as I was talking to Mark Hebert, and we'll be having some shows and some connections with Sault College until their departure to going to Dallas in an attempt to win the ACHA Division II.
Let's go, boys.
Dave, Alex, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we got NBA and we got some XFL for in the pocket segment, but starting with the NBA, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Game Sports Show, the final part of our show tonight inside ONNtv Studios, and I'm here still joined. I think he loves being here.
Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit.
Some days he probably wants to strangle me, but that's the love that we have here on the Game Sports Show.
It's a love-hate.
It has been. Since June 18th of 2019.
Oh, he remembers. Oh.
Heart. Well, as I hit the mic there, sorry to our producer Jake with hitting the mic, he probably fell out of his chair. But nonetheless, we got NBA to discuss, and I am actually very excited to talk about this.
Me too.
Because it's not a stressful topic. Not like the last segment was. These are great. But we talked a lot of NHL stuff, and when you start talking about teams that you like to watch, like Toronto Maple Leafs, your blood starts to boil up in here. And
oh, you like to watch them?
And then we start ranting about the Nick. Some days.
Okay.
Then you rant about social media with Nick Malik. Mm-hmm. It's good to have these topics where you can have some excitement in terms of no ranting. Just take a breath
and enjoy sports. What a nice change.
I'm
not used to that.
We enjoy it, but some days, if you're a particular fan of particular teams in sports. NBA, though, if you're a Raptors fan, you're loving life. Like a Canadian sport record, winning 15 in a row before losing, but fantastic. Okay. Mm-hmm. And the NBA All-Star Game is what I want to talk about as that picture is.
Number 2. Lowry drawing the charge in the All-Star Game. First ever against Kawhi Leonard. The Kobe Bryant MVP award going to Kawhi Leonard. As Team LeBron got the win. There's Kawhi. Raptors fans rejoice with that a little bit as I get flashbacks of the NBA championship last year being celebrated in Golden State. That was the best All-Star game in any sport that I have watched. In how long?
I don't even know. Since 2000, since the NHL was at the Air Canada Centre for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
But I think that's biased. You were a kid and it was in your home team's arena.
Yeah, a little bit biased. But this game in Chicago, the draft was great. It was realistic where you got LeBron going, he just took that guy, man. Like there was no scripting there. There was no scripting at all. And the celebrity game was funny. I got Stephen A. Smith, one of our buddies with ESPN, as the Game Sports Show is affiliated with ESPN, so can't talk too chirpy with Stephen Smith, but he wants to get in a celebrity game next year. The skills competition was great.
Yep. Oh, that dunk contest. Aaron Gordon, man. Don't go back for a dunk contest. Dwayne Wade, you know what you did. You Miami favoritism person. that I don't agree with. God, I was so mad that he
Yeah,
did.
like that guy.
Guy dunks over Taco Fall, 7'5". People are gonna come at me and go, "Well, you didn't completely jump over him." Yeah, you know why I didn't completely jump over him? Because he's 7'5". But look at that. That's good enough if you ask me. And he gives it a 9. Are you kidding me? Yeah, just because you wanted the guy from Miami to win. Get out of here. Get out of here, Dwayne Wade. God.
Boom. Maybe there is more rants coming. That was it.
But honestly, that dunk contest was really fun. As much
was.
as I thought Aaron Gordon should have won, and he got absolutely stolen from right underneath him. His second.
Look at that.
Sorry, I
Good
had
point.
to.
The game,
Good
though,
job, Aaron
the
Gordon.
compete level in the game was what was fantastic. All right, like you got people competing, charging, drawing flowers,
Flowers.
fouls,
Aw.
and,
Valentine's Day still fresh on the mind.
like hitting the floor. Collar hit the floor.
Yeah.
I remember at the first, I was like, oh my god.
That's what he does
He's
best,
good.
though. He does
He's
that
good.
all the time, though. That's what he does best.
Spicy P getting all up in Kawhi's
Yeah,
grill,
yeah.
you know, like it's.
Gotta love it.
This was the best All-Star game. Hello NHL. I don't know about MLB. I'm a big fan of the MLB All-Star game.
NFL?
You know, like, hey, yeah, that's another story.
the NFL.
Bring up something with this. I don't know how any of the leagues can do it, but the compete level was there. It was exciting. Who cares if someone's working hard, might pull an ankle? This was the best All-Star game that I have ever watched, and I was glad that I switched it from the Toronto Maple Leafs, Buffalo Sabres game, to watch the last 2 quarters of this game, because it's similar to having the target score. It went right down to the end.
Yep.
It was like storybook. You can't write that kind of stuff.
Winning on a foul shot, though, yeah,
That was crappy. Nonetheless, you know, it was great to watch. Let us know what you felt about the NBA All-Star Game. Do you want the other leagues to adapt this in? How great was it? Where were you when you were watching it? Were you almost breaking your TV because of the Leaf game before watching it? Because if you
Were you, Dave? Okay.
But if you were watching the NBA All-Star Game after this, it made you happy because of how great the NBA did this.
Because sports are fun every now and then. Not often for a Leafs fan, but sometimes there's a glimmer of hope that sports may be fun one day.
Just a little bit. We're going to go into now, transition from the NBA, going to go into our In the Pocket. I didn't miss it, Alex. There you go.
Oh, I'm going to go for the one-handed today. Oh, you couldn't even see it, but I pulled it back. It's still here.
Still there. Maybe we'll start bringing in a football.
Touchdown. Baby.
But nonetheless, XFL is going to be our In the Pocket segment discussion, and we talk about it a lot on our show Wednesday. Tomorrow we'll be at Sports Center Bar and Grill. Be our In the Pocket segment, talking XFL and updated NFL and local news. We had Tom Annett and Ty Hankinson on last week's show. It was fantastic. Make sure you check that out. You have right now the XFL going on, all right? And I'm liking it. Everyone's saying, who's your favorite team? The Dallas Renegades. Why Dallas Renegades?
Yeah. Oh, right. I remember now.
Baseball. Our baseball team here in Sault Ste. Marie, the Gain Sports Show, sponsors a baseball team in men's league called the Gain Sports Show Renegades. So I'm sticking to blood, and it's the same colors. They still are colors.
Can't go wrong. What do you mean? They don't have any green. We've got green.
No, that's our logo, but our baseball team is blue and black, which makes no sense.
Yeah. Did you just make that connection now that doesn't really make any sense?
Yep, but those are nice colors.
Oh, yeah. They're the best jerseys in the league.
Those
by
are fantastic. Now, you have the XFL going on, different kind of things in place in terms of kickoff, downs.
Oh, you gotta love the kickoffs. Oh, what a great way to set those up.
Now, are you thinking this league's going to last?
I don't know. They're doing better than I thought they would off the start. Because I forget, what was the other football league that just started up not too long ago and it got debunked? I think Johnny Manziel was playing in it. I can't even remember what it was now. It wasn't the CFL. Of course not the CFL. But
AFL? Arena?
yeah, no, maybe. I don't even remember. I don't know. Well, either way, I didn't think
nonetheless.
the XFL was going to make the waves that they're doing so far. So I'm pretty impressed by that. I love their presentation. There's so many people mic'd up. The coaches are mic'd up. The players are mic'd up.
The realism in the game for that is fantastic.
I love that. From the presentation side, that makes it so enjoyable to watch at home. I still don't know if they're going to last just because of how big of a giant the NFL is. But it's a great place for players that want a second chance at football to go make $50,000 a year and go try to get your name noticed again and go try to make another NFL roster.
Which transitioned me, because this is going to be somewhere to talk about tomorrow as I pull over the notes, as we don't really like to follow too many notes here on the Game Sports Show, but on TV we have to. Colin Kaepernick.
Go ahead.
Does he get a chance?
The XFL?
Does he swallow his pride and say, you know what, if this league flourishes this year, and if he doesn't go anywhere this year in the NFL, which I don't know if he will,
He's not.
does he get a chance at the XFL where he will prove himself?
The guy's got a cannon still. Could he do it? Yeah. He'd probably be the best quarterback, too.
The most popular player in the league.
Right now, quarterbacks are not the greatest in the XFL.
He'd be the best quarterback in the XFL if he played.
In their history, mind you.
Yeah. Short or long-term history, whatever it is. I think that would be a great opportunity. I think Colin Kaepernick might be like, this might be a backstep to my, but it's actually not.
Well,
prove that you're a better locker room guy. Prove that you still have that cannon, not just with
nobody on the field covering your receivers.
Just whatever you're going out to throw out randomly on a day. Go out when you're getting pressured a little bit. Show that you can handle that. All right? Yeah. And honestly, I didn't ask you what your favorite team was.
I don't really have a favorite team yet. I mean, like, I love the Battlehawks logo and their jerseys, but, like, that has had enough of a reason to like somebody.
Why not?
Yeah, sure. All right, the Battlehawks. Cool. Done.
The Battlehawks. The Vipers are Justin and Jamie.
What?
Why do you like them?
It's the Vipers.
He's Alex. I'm Dave. I want to say thank you to Jake Moore, our producer. I want to thank you to you, the viewers / listeners, for following us here on the Game Sports Show. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow us. Spotify, Apple, Podbean. There's YouTube with us. There's ONNtv. There's all of our social medias with Northern Superior, Sports Center, ESPN 1400 stream. Definitely, that's one thing I forgot to mention. So if I had to blow it, that would be that I didn't bring up all the ESPN links. We're all over, so if you can't find us, you can on all of the platforms.
And one fun fact before we go, Drew Brees will return to the NFL next season, announced today.
We will talk about that more tomorrow as well. As I mentioned, Dave and Alex sign off here on the Game Sports Show. We'll be at Sports Center Bar and Grill tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Make sure you tune into all of our platforms for that. And here I am to remind you to stay inside, stay warm, have a great night, and booyah.